If you use ThinkorSwim to trade, today's video is going to change your life. ThinkorSwim is by far the best free trading software. TradingView has great charts. Robinhood is really good for ease of access. But as far as a single all-encompassing trading tool, ThinkorSwim has them beat by a mile. But since ThinkorSwim is a free software, by default, they have some of their settings turned down. And I don't blame them for this. They want to ease the burden on their servers. And for 90% of people that are just investing some of their paycheck and then forgetting about it, these settings are perfectly fine. But for us, for you and I who want to actively trade the stock market, we need to speed them up a little bit. For example, I want you to come into Setup in the top right of your ThinkorSwim application, into Application Settings, and then into your System subtab here. By default, ThinkorSwim has the quote speed set to this moderate, which comes with a 3-second delay. Of course, as active traders, we want real-time data, so of course switch this to real-time no delay quote speed. And if you haven't already done that, I promise you, just in tip number 1 there, I just changed your trading life forever. Now that we're off and running, throughout the rest of this video, I've got 3 more settings I'm gonna have you change to greatly improve your experience trading on the ThinkorSwim application. And there will be some honorable mentions along the way as well. So you're actually going to get more than just those 3 setting changes, but make sure that you stick around for the last settings change, because it's something that I don't really ever see anybody else talk about. And it's something that's going to greatly improve the performance of your ThinkorSwim application. So stick around for that. Let's start with honorable mention number 1, and that's going to be what is going on the charts you've seen behind me so far throughout this video. If you're someone that's new to ThinkorSwim or especially new to this channel, you're likely very interested in what I've got going on behind me. What you're seeing running here is a custom strategy that I have coded that is running automatically within ThinkorSwim. These labels in the top, these are showing you the back-tested performance statistics of said strategy. That is a custom study that I built. This dot plot at the bottom, that's showing you the overall momentum metrics of the ticker. That's a custom study that I have built. I have also built 50 plus, if not 100 plus custom scanners, etc. And this is a very important topic to touch on, because if you're not taking advantage of the custom codes in ThinkorSwim, you're really only using like 10% of the power of the application. I'm not gonna delve into a complex coding tutorial right now. That's not the point of this video, but it is something that I do on this channel. The niche of this YouTube channel is custom coding within ThinkorSwim. So the first step, if you're interested in custom coding within ThinkorSwim, is to subscribe to the channel down below. And if you want just a massive head start on your ThinkorSwim coding journey, I have published over 150 custom coded studies, strategies, scanners, etc. over on my website, daytradingstrategies.net, and you can access all 150 right now for just $45. There's also obviously an annual plan that will obviously save you money and also get you lifetime access to a Discord server full of people that are using these codes. So it's just a great place to come in and talk about them. Now, I know. I'm listening to some of you all. I wish I could just give them all away to you for free, but you all are here, right? You're watching a stock trading video. You all are all about trying to make money too. You understand I can't just give away thousands of hours of hard work for free, right? That would be ridiculous from my end. But I feel $45 to get access to over 150 codes is still a ridiculous value. And I set it up as a monthly subscription because I am always adding and updating new codes to the website. Of course, you can cancel at any time after you sign up with just 3 mouse clicks under the My Account tab here. I make that very simple. Also, I do have a handful of free codes out and available just so you can get a little taste. So once again, daytradingstrategies.net. Link will be in the description down below this video. At least go check out the free codes, read the reviews, decide if it's something that could maybe help accelerate your trading journey. All right, enough of the custom coding conversation. I just actually wanted to take a minute to talk about that on a video like this, because I'm not being hyperbolic when I say that the custom coding in ThinkorSwim really is 90% of the power of this free software. Anyway, let's now move on to the active trader window. What I'm going to do quickly, just in case you don't know this either, I'm clicking into this box logo here in the top right of my charts tab, and this is where I can show sidebar in cells, which pops this up, and this is where I can pop up my active trader window, which is another just insanely powerful tool in ThinkorSwim to place your orders. Let's cover a couple of honorable mentions that pertain to the active trader window before I jump into the actual setting that I want you to change here. First off, make sure this auto send checkbox is checked and selected, because if it's not, every time you go to hit buy or sell, you're going to also have to hit confirm on a little confirmation dialog window. And if you're bang bang active trading, that's just an extra click and extra time that you don't want to have to waste while executing trades. Secondly, you can come into the settings cog on the active trader window here, and this is where you can adjust all the buttons, all the layout, etc. of your active trader window. So if instead of buy market and sell market, you can double click to remove them from your current set, and you can look up, say you want to go with buy the bid and sell the ask instead, or sorry, buy the ask and let's go sell the bid then. And those are the buttons you want to use. You would rather use limit orders like that. You can do that, and you can drag these up. All of this is draggable so that you can change the layout however you want it. I can move the flatten button up here if I would like to. You now see buy ask, sell bid, auto send checkbox selected, etc., etc. Now, for the actual setting I want you to change as it pertains to the active trader window, once again, back into setup in the top right, under application settings, and under the same general tab here, this time we're going to go into active trader. Now, I actually leave my active trader order submission rate on the default 500 milliseconds because I've had problems in the past with my left mouse click accidentally double clicking even though I only press it once. And I don't want that to happen when I'm placing trades. That's what this setting does, right? It won't allow you to place an order within 500 milliseconds of another order, just to prevent that accidental double clicking. But if you're someone that doesn't want that, like if you're someone who wants to be able to spam a couple of buy asks or sells in a row, you want to go ahead and set this to 0 milliseconds instead. Once again, I leave mine on 500 just because that's not the way I trade. The way I trade is I will go in and I will have the quantity already set up that I want to buy, and then it's simply hitting buy, and when the sell time comes, whenever that is later, I hit sell once. However, I know there are a lot of traders out there that like just leave their quantity on 100 or 1,000 or 10,000, whatever it is, however size you're trading, and if you want to buy, say, 200 shares, you'll go buy, like you'll hit the button twice. That's how you determine your size. So sort of depending on how you trade is how you want to have this set up. Also, I do have checked the auto send active trader order on down click. So as soon as I hit buy ask, like as soon as I press my mouse down, the order goes through rather than having to wait for it to be depressed also. That's a little bit like minute, a little bit ridiculous. Like, okay, Trey, what does that save you? 10 milliseconds? Yeah, probably. But I like to have that box checked anyway. Now we're going to start talking about application performance, like how ThinkorSwim actually runs on your machine. And this is vitally important. If you are dealing with a laggy, choppy, active trading software, you really can't be actively trading. You can get yourself in a lot of trouble. And luckily for us, there's a handful of settings in ThinkorSwim that we can help to optimize the performance of the application on our specific machines. The first honorable mention I'm going to talk about is this help tab here, and within it, the system subtab. From this system subtab, you can see this crazy looking chart. What's going on while your ThinkorSwim is running throughout the day? It is utilizing and collecting temporary data. So the longer that your ThinkorSwim is running, over time, it's going to get more and more slow, more laggy, as it just collects more and more and is storing more and more temporary data. Well, this collect garbage button here, what this is going to do, you can't really see like a great representation of it right now because the markets aren't open. So it's not like really pulling in a lot of or any data right now. But what it does is it cleans out that temporary data that the that the application has already used of your machine during this session, and just sort of resets it. Gives you a nice clean, like you just would have opened ThinkorSwim again. So if you're noticing some chops, some lag kind of throughout your trading day, especially like around lunchtime into the early afternoon, just hop into the help tab and the system sub tab and come collect the garbage real quick. The next honorable mention as it pertains to performance will be chart timeframes. Now I have a purpose-built machine for trading. I hand built this machine. I've put 64 gigabytes of RAM within it. I have built it to be as good of a trading machine as it can be. So when I'm looking at my daily chart, for example, I'm looking at the max available amount of data, meaning I can look all the way back as far as possible on any stock. I can look back on AMD from 1985. AMD has been around since 1985. I had no idea about that. I learned something in this video, but see, I can run like my max available timeframes. And even on like my 5-minute time frame, which is my intraday I trade on, you can see that I have it set to the 180-day range. That is the longest available total time frame for the 5-minute time frame in ThinkorSwim. And you even noticed with my machine, with my 64 gigabytes of RAM, when I just loaded up that 180 days worth of 5-minute data, including pre-market and after hours trading, it took a second to load in, right? Like you saw it going all jumpy and all crazy. It took a second to load in. Well, if you're noticing your machine is running a little bit slowly, noticing a little bit of choppiness, and you can't really figure out why, hop into this time frame selector and just knock this down. Like instead of looking at the last 180 days on the 5-minute, just look at the last 15 days. You'll notice as I loaded in the chart, it didn't take any time to load in. It loaded in right away. If I were to jump over to a different chart, say Tesla, it loads in right away. So lowering that time frame, lowering that time interval, should I say, on your aggregation period can help the performance of your machine, and especially if you begin to come in and start running some of these custom strategies like I have built. Like if I turn on my swing trading strategy here and look at it on the 5-minute, 15-day, it loads in right away. If I were to hop back out to that 180-day, it's going to take even longer to load in now, because now not only does it need to load in the data, but also the strategy around all the data. So as you begin to get into the custom coding as well, timeframes may have a big impact on your machine's performance. Now, for the final settings change, and the one that is going to create a massive improvement on your application's performance, I've hopped all the way out of our ThinkorSwim application and onto my desktop. What I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the ThinkorSwim login modal, as from here is where we need to access the setting that we need to change once again to greatly improve the performance. So let's hope installing updates doesn't take forever. I was just in ThinkorSwim. There shouldn't be a lot of updates. Aha, here we go. We're getting now logged in. So now from the login screen, there is this settings cog in the bottom left. You're going to want to click on that. And at the bottom here, you have your memory usage. And there's two numbers representing a minimum amount of RAM that the application is allowed to use of your computer's hardware, and the maximum amount. And by default, these are both set, I believe, to the minimum values, or maybe just like one tick up or something. You want to, of course, adjust these, and it's going to depend on the random access memory that your machine has. Once again, I have a purpose-built trading computer. So I have mine turned just about all the way up. I have my minimum RAM set to this 16384 and my maximum set to this 26159. You need to come in and adjust that, raise it, raise it, raise it. Then what you're going to do, I'm going to come out because I still have my ThinkorSwim session that we were going over earlier open. What you're going to do then is log into ThinkorSwim as normal, of course, and open up your task manager. What you want is you want your memory percentage here to land somewhere around 60 to 70%. You really don't want to start getting into like the 80s or 90s on your memory usage, as that can create overall choppiness in your machine. But just raise the minimum and maximum RAM values once again from the login modal of ThinkorSwim. Check your task manager. If your memory is still at like 30-40%, raise it again. If it's at like 70%, then lower it. From there, just doing it a couple of times, you will find the correct setting for your machine. And I promise you, that is going to make your ThinkorSwim application so much more smooth running. If you didn't know about some of the settings changes I talked about in today's video, then I promise you, I just changed your trading life forever. Try them out, implement them, and let me know how they go in the comment section down below. Remember, I also gave you a heads up on how you can get a massive head start on accessing the other 90% of ThinkorSwim's potential by utilizing custom codes and by accessing the over 150 plus that I have published on my website, daytradingstrategies.net. Remember, this website will be linked in the description down below. Nonetheless, please go take advantage of the free codes. Like, I almost want to apologize for charging you to use the 150, but also I don't. I mean, you understand when you put that much work into something, it has value, right? 150 custom trading codes has value. And I think $45 to access them is pretty ridiculous. It's like less than 30 cents a code. But even if you don't want to pay for them, at least go take advantage of the free codes, once again, by clicking the link in the description down below. With all that being said, if you did learn something in today's video, please hit the like button. If you would like to continue learning, make sure you subscribe to the channel down below. And with all that being said, I'm going to go ahead and sign out of today's video, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.